a chance. He seems kind of helpless.
Helplessness is the last thing I am looking for.
Sammy. Sammy.
Look, please, if we're going to spend the rest of our lives together, you must learn not to interrupt.
The rest of our lives?
Yes.
You mean marriage?
Of course.
You've got a nerve.
Got several of them. They're all functioning normally.
Do you realize what you've said?
I should do. It's pounded in my brain often enough, asleep and awake, in the drowsy fantasy moment of every lonely dawn. Well, come on. What's your answer?
You've taken my breath away.
No, it's just the sudden realization, you see, of the fact that I love you.
night all days that I woke up all today. I woke up night all. I woke up all today. I woke up night all days that you copy. I woke up all today. I woke up night all days that I woke up all today. I woke up night all days that I woke up all today. I woke up night all. Somewhere, somewhere, and left, on the ear high, Satan, ear high, on the somewhere, somewhere, and left, on the ear high, Satan, ear high, on the. I woke up all today. I woke up pretty night all days that you copy. I woke up all today. I woke up night all days that I woke up all today. I woke up pretty night all days that I woke up all today. I woke up night all. Somewhere, somewhere, and left, on the ear high, Satan, ear high, on the somewhere,
Planet shining, come on, hey, hey, sul, sul, la la, da shining, planet, la la, come on, hey, 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 big party, planet shining, Vina, Bobby, planet shining, come on, hey, hey, sul, sul, la la, da shining. Planet shining, Vina, Bobby, planet shining, come on, hey, hey, sul, sul, la la, da shining, planet, la la, come on, hey, 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 planet shining, Vina, Bobby, come on, hey, hey, sul, sul, la la, da shining, la la, la la,
monkey. Crack my head. Wow. Bang. Immensely strong. This cause it hurt my head and I bang. Sorry. Strong. This cause it hurt monkey. Bang. Pierced labia. This cause it hurt my head and I bang. Sorry. Pierced labia. This cause it drunk monkey, crack my head. I bang monkey, snake, my head. No, bang drunk monkey. I bang monkey, snake. Immensely strong. This cause it my head. Sorry, lad. Strong. This cause it monkey. Immensely strong. This cause it my head. Sorry, lad. Strong. This cause it monkey. Very drunk. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. And it's beautiful song. Song.
Bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs. Dogs and horses and bears and horses and dogs and horses and bears. Dogs and horses and bears and horses and dogs and horses and dogs. Bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and bears and horses and dobbins and dobbins and bears and horses and dogs and dog bears and horses and dogs and bears and horses and bears and all dancing. We are not all dancing. Some all dancing. We are not all dancing. Some all dancing. All bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and dogs and dogs bears and horses and dogs and dogs and bears and horses and bears and ah, that was a nice thing to hear.
Louder with Crowder Studios, protected exclusively by Walther.
And Betty.
Amid the coronavirus chaos, Chinatown has been seeing fewer visitors, but city officials say there is no reason to be concerned.
It is absolutely safe to enjoy all that Chinatown has to offer.
Wonder you're feeling awesome. Out for a drink in Chinatown, and next thing you know, you're coughing up a lot.
We're gonna support Chinatown, support China.
Wake up a few days later, wondering if you're gonna die now, just 'cause of China. Ain't too many backs.
Comes from China.
When you get sick because you live in New York City.
9/11 was nothing compared to this.
Blame the Chinese, though it's true.
They say xenophobia is at a high.
Sorry you're sick because you live in New York City. If it's the COVID flu, if it's the COVID flu, just stay at home.
Stay home.
Cuomo, they say, has penis lips. De Blasio, he's a douche canoe, and everyone knows that he has blood on his hand.
We celebrate this New Year together.
New Yorkers left to get out of town and spreading the virus wherever they went. Because of them, it's been all over the place.
The curve continues to go up.
When you get sick because you live in New York City.
Politicians are now working to combat racism.
Chinese, though it's true.
Chinese started the coronavirus.
So you're sick because you live in New York City. If it's the COVID flu, it's the COVID flu, it's the COVID flu, just stay at home.
Stay at home.
That's called the Backstreet Boys, and they did this in Backstreet's Back, and I'm just doing it because I don't know if you can see my foot is in an ice bath right now because I caused great bodily harm. We have Anthony Cumia on the show.
Dang.
Let me get Stu is here, of course, from The Blaze. You can go to youtube.com/Stu Does America Show.
Yes.
We're going to have to change that URL.
Yes, he does.
Make it something searchable, but let's be honest, no one will find you. Quarter Black, how are you?
What's up, dog?
I don't like it. Audio way too cute, Maddie. Gerald A. What's the wine of the day?
One of the day is Summit Vine Diamant.
Summit Vine Diamant.
Right?
What is Diamant? How is it spelled?
Diamant.
So, Stu, what kind of show is it that you do?
73% Merlot.
It's just a show. It's about the news.
Okay.
And we screw around a lot and make fun of, China causing global pandemics.
Nice,
things like that.
nice.
Yeah.
A little racism.
Okay.
There's a compression.
It happens.
There's a racist compression in this room.
You just
that is just... This is warming. We have Anthony Cumia on the show. And, of course, for people who don't know, it's Mug Club Quarantine Month. That's the hashtag. Enter in the promo code QUARANTINE. You get $30 off at loudwithcrowder.com/mugclub. And we are doubling content. We're doing more content than ever before, and we're putting it all in front of the paywall this month. And if you're a member, please do consider renewing. Also, announcement, starting next Monday, everything is going to be... Brie. Although I prefer a sharp cheddar. Everything is going to be released... at 8 p.m. Eastern. So right now the stream is at 8 Eastern, and then the uploads are at 9. And I don't know why that happened. Gross oversight. Negligence on my part. And people are like, why is it different days? I didn't have an answer for you. And so I was upset with myself.
As well, you should be. Sir.
And now we have it. Now we have it going. So tomorrow, also, Good Morning Monk Club. That's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're done with the announcements. Question of the day before we move on is where do you think the balance is between worrying about health with the country, with the globe, as well as taking into account economic viability, particularly as it relates to the working class? And when do you think it's time to start turning the economy back on? Who thought that the greatest act of rebellion one could undertake is wanting to work?
Yeah, it's punk rock.
It is punk
for the economy.
We should be in Rancid. And I know. I'm indestructible. Are you drunk? No. I'm not a singer. I'm a stylist. Well, let's just chalk it up to.
Not do that.
That's fine then. But first, I know a lot of people are bored. Many of you, but not as much as this guy.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
That's a nice trick.
喝杯活酒。操！我操，这咋回事
？Oh my god！
快点打！
Yeah, Ku'ita means punch me in the d. For anybody.
Is it really?
You know what's so funny? That's where the fire. We weren't sure if it was fake or not because it's so perfect, like it's so violent, and then it switches to the shadow, like a film production house trying to keep a PG-13 rating. It looks actually like it because it looks like the Ghost in the Darkness. If you don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap! He's putting it out by hitting him in the sack.
That's how you do it. You didn't know you do that, Stu?
And I don't think it's. Here's why I don't think it's fake. Let me list my justification for you. Because some people have gone back and forth. First off, he's put on the makeup. He's looking really hip.
Yeah.
And Chinese people can't act. So when you add all of that up, like I don't think they have. Like they don't like the comedy of something played so straight-laced that it's embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like for them it'd be like a paper mache hat and like. Like they wouldn't do this
a bit.
And play it dry.
The guy that burned his balls off on tape.
Yeah, that's how you feel after a night with Kesha. You wake up the next morning.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Unlike P. Diddy.
She brushes her teeth with a
that.
bottle of Jack. I don't know who does that.
Nobody.
Whores. Leading the news, Bernie Sanders, of course, has suspended his campaign. And by the way, I should say we'll be talking about the World Health Organization a little bit because everyone else has been sort of tearing a page from our book. But Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign. Here's the thing. He held in for as long as he could. I know we've given him a hard time, but we don't hate any of these people.
He's a fighter.
He's a worthy adversary, or he was. But as for Bernie right now, it's copyright free. Time to close.
He did not work till he was like 41, and then he got elected to something. It was all just baloney, and I feel so bad that, people got sucked into it.
Wow, that's strong stuff. What's your reaction?
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now. Time to close. It's time to go to places where you go to place yourself.
I am not a billionaire. Millionaires. 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 Millionaires and billionaires.
Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders confirming he is a millionaire and offering no apologies.
Billionaires. Just the billionaire class.
I know that it's time for things to close. Things to close.
This land was made for you and me.
People are lining up for food. That's a good thing.
To be clear, he's not actually dead.
No,
just his campaign.
Right.
I want to make sure that doesn't go out. I don't want to get snoped. Just his campaign.
Very, very dead.
Just his hopes and dreams. And I will say that's kind of endearing, that he was struck out by a 7-year-old because Joe Biden's still. No, I mean it. Like there's no semblance of even trying to be cool. Like Joe Biden still or I just forgot her name, Elizabeth Warren.
easy to forget.
There's like when you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
You know, like you're showing up at the Apollo Theater trying to get votes. Bernie, when you look like Igor from Young Frankenstein,
you got to roll into
there's
it.
a soft expectation. It's just like, you know what? He limped up and he tried a layup and it's about how we expected.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expects him to be able to be good at basketball.
I don't think people expect him to be good at things. Also on Wednesday, by the way, President Trump was asked about, hey, let me ask you this. How long can I leave my foot in an ice bath?
For a long time, actually.
Okay, because it's been in for like an hour.
Yeah, it's not
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Nope, it's okay.
Are you
Fine,
sure?
let it go.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Let it go.
It's like purple. Oh, no, seriously, I didn't know.
It's
that
okay.
shouldn't stay
Very
in there.
red.
That
Listen,
should not stay in there.
It's okay.
F you, Gerald. That's not
Very
staying in
red.
there. Look at this.
I think we should leave it in.
You want my foot to be frostbitten.
It won't get frostbitten.
Oh my word. Okay, I'm taking it out.
What the hell did you do to it?
Yikes.
I'm a pussy.
Okay.
And so ice effectively gets
you ever
rid of
seen
that.
Unbreakable? I'm like Mr. Glass.
Okay.
Yeah, without the hood pass. This is terrible. I'm really good. That
Oh
is.
my goodness.
You don't need to be concerned.
Oh, yes, I do.
I've iced for an hour before and fell asleep. Like you get used
so
to it
I
and
could
it's
end up
okay.
like you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So on Wednesday, President Trump was asked. I'm going to try and continue like I'm not entirely distracted by my throbbing. It looks like Fred Flintstone after he screwed up the bowling at the Water Buffalo Lodge. It's going boom, boom.
Put it in ice water.
I didn't expect it to look like your forehead.
That was shocking.
There's an H in there, sir.
Yeah, that's not like what a human foot's supposed to
No,
look
it's not supposed to at all.
It's not optimal foot.
And the worst part about it is that I know someone is doing ungodly things to themselves because I just showed my feet. Yeah. That's a problem on the internet.
They're pausing.
I don't know why they'd be the Hodge twins. Probably would be. So President Donald Trump, he was asked about giving a pardon to the Tiger King.
Yes.
And I think these kind of clips a lot of people miss is when he seems endearing. He was asked about Joe Exotic. Let's play it.
I was wondering if you've seen the show and if you have any thoughts on pardoning.
You think he didn't do it? Are you on his side?
Well,
are you recommending a pardon?
No, I'm not advocating anything.
As a reporter, you're not allowed to do that. You'd be criticized by these. Would you recommend a pardon?
I'm not weighing in on Tiger
I don't think you would. I don't think you would. Go ahead. You have a question? I'll take a look.
I do not recommend a pardon for that one reporter's comb over. At a certain point, you just go American History X.
You really do. You just go with it.
You don't try and trick anybody.
I love how he pinpointed that it was his son Don Jr. too. By the way,
do people think like someone? I'm not a very good liar.
Yeah.
Do people like that who lie because his whole head is a lie? Do they feel comfortable lying? Like even though just a stiff wind will blow it all the lid off the whole thing? I don't know.
He's delusional.
I have no idea.
Understand.
Thoughts, Stu?
The Tiger thing is interesting with Trump because this is an opportunity where the can grab onto you, which is.
That's true.
It's different.
That is
disgusting.
Insightful.
What do you think, giant mass of purple flesh?
Oh my God! Put it away.
It's all right. See, he gets it.
Put it away.
Yeah, you just got to amputate that thing.
Yeah, I do. I have no idea.
Put it back in the water.
It reminds me of my teacher from, I'll use his name. I don't care. I'm tired. Rocco Bono was my gym class teacher in Crayville. And he sent me outside. That's his actual name. Rocco Bono. You Rocco Bono, litigate me. So he actually sent me outside to run a 1K run, and I got frostbite.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It looked like that?
Looked like this.
Point,
yeah, a little worse. So Donald Trump played, don't bleep that. He played coy about it. I tried to play it coy, of course, though. Actually, sources have confirmed, a lot of people don't know this, that he has had calls with Joe Exotic from prison. Yes.
Oh, wow.
We actually, I think a lot of the crowd obtained exclusive audio.
Hello, excuse me, Joe Tiger? Donald Trump? Excuse me, yes, President Trump? I just want my rights as an American citizen under the Constitution. Okay, I see you're a man who gets straight to the point, and frankly, I like it. I want to talk about a problem here in America. Excuse me, I know, the COVID, but don't trust everything you hear on fake news coming from China. Goddamn, I gotta quit watching the news. Oh, so you still do get news in the kitty. I bet it's CNN. It's CNN, right? It'll kill you or piss you off one or the other. I know, right? Frankly, that's what I've been saying. It's all propaganda made for you to believe to further out an agenda. I like Joe Tiger. Hey, did you hear about the broad who gave her husband koi pod cleaner? This crazy bitch. Okay, excuse me. I would never call her. Okay, between you and me, yes, she is that crazy, not nice word. But can you believe the fake news tried to blame Trump. Now Joe Exotic's pissed off. Plus, frankly, between you and me, I think, okay, I would never say this, but people are saying this, that she may have offed her husband. I consider that bitch to be one of the biggest terrorists. You know who that broad reminds me of? Carol fucking Baskin. Actually, I was going to say Crooked Hillary. Fucking bitch. Joe Tiger, you are definitely getting a presidential pardon.
And it is well deserved.
Yeah.
A little long, but you know what?
It's worth it every minute.
2 shows a day.
Indulge.
Don't care.
Gotta indulge.
Have you watched Tiger King?
I am 3 episodes in on it.
That's all it needs
That's
to
the
be.
peak.
Really?
Yeah, it's a 7-episode arc. It could really be about 3.
Oh, really? Because
really
it's
could,
been really good so
it starts
far.
off like a Christopher Guest documentary. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way these people are real.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they are.
And then there was actually
unfolding the onion.
Was
Just
it
crazy?
Was it you telling me audio way? Was it Doc Antle? And,
Yes.
Was it Jock,
Right.
Jeff Lowe? They're the two subjects of the documentary. They've slammed the series as salacious sensationalism.
Right.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that does happen.
Right.
With reality TV. But hold on a second. I want to be clear. Did this man run an illegal underground tiger breeding ring along with 2 husbands who were not even homosexual, and he hired a hitman to kill an animal rights activist? I'm okay with adding a little zest. Like, that's enough. I don't think you're too far from the crazy through line.
No.
Oh man, there's so much there. So wait, he's married to, because I feel like Trump would like the guy who is married to 4 wives than the guy who's married to 2 husbands. But the 2 husbands are not gay.
Yeah,
How
the
is-
ponytail guy.
Oh, no. They're not.
Oh, no, you're spoiler alert. We have to have
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Oh,
Spoiler
no,
alert.
God, no. I
Spoiler
told you
alert.
I was 3 in.
They're not really gay. And the guy's reason is 20 tigers is 20 tigers.
20 tigers.
Right. Like someone at some point is like, no, I'm completely straight. What are those tigers? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also the meth.
Like someone sprinkled fairy dust just on your rear and you're going out the window with the English sheepdog. So, in entertainment news, it's the same as having wings. Isn't that the think of Santa, think of snow, think of reindeer, off we go. In entertainment news, thank you. Thank you. The least quarter black
Song of
harmony ever.
I'm not ashamed.
He doesn't mean Garfunkel, too. No Paul Simon, just Garfunkel.
Just
Yeah.
Garfunkel.
Yes.
It's enraging.
Simon's too soulful. Paul Simon.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
Too much, too talented. I tell you, Art Garfunkel came in when we were taping Arthur.
Yeah.
And we were all instructed, this was a period of time, like, do not mention Paul Simon. And I was 12. I'm like, I don't know the history of this riff.
Right.
So I'm just like, hey, what's up with Paul Simon? Like, no, do it! Like, I'm a 12-year-old crop disturber. What do you expect?
Yeah.
What else? Oh, in entertainment. That's right. Hans Zimmer. For those who don't know, he's a composer of the music for Inception, Dark Knight, the whole trilogy.
Stuff, yes.
He's filed for divorce, which is sad. When asked how the divorce would affect his children, Zimmer responded, interesting.
Yeah.
It's very deep. Yeah.
It's a thinker.
Expected.
It's a thinker, that joke.
We couldn't get Danny Elfman. When everyone was... everyone's been making adjustments to being quarantined.
Such a simple joke.
A porn company. It's to me that's so funny. I'm just trying to keep a straight face.
You have to, yeah.
Because if I sit there and do the Jimmy Fallon, like, because Hans Zimmer does it. Oh no, Hans Zimmer does it. Oh, that's right. Shut up, Jimmy.
You brought it back. We're good.
Being quarantined, a pornography company. They're helping performers safely shoot videos at home. On Monday, I want to make sure I get this right, Vixen Media Group announced that it plans to make this transition easier for some performers by sending them customized packages, including cameras, ring lights, toys, and lingerie so they can more easily work from home. In total, the packages will be worth $250,000 in an effort to combat coronavirus. Still no word, however, on the incurable AIDS.
Nothing to help.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Crippling, really. Turning to science, I guess speaking of science,
dark ending to that story.
Only dark if you use needles. Otherwise, you're fine. Turning to science, don't listen to Oprah. 2 in 3 heterosexual couples by 1994 will get AIDS. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I'm like,
Yeah. You
you're
can get
full
it
of
from drinking.
Kind of like we went from 2.5 million minimum deaths to
Yes.
100,000 to 240,000 minimum. Now it's like 60,000 minimum. And at any point, someone said, "I don't think that's the minimum." Denier.
Exactly.
You deny? Do you deny science? No, I deny your bullshit.
There you go.
Turning. Sorry, the bleep button.
I'm a little more concerned, actually, at the authenticity of these movies, because so much porn is done at office settings. Casting couches can't be done authentically at home.
That's true.
That's not right.
Wow.
That's not right.
Yeah.
The boss can't hit on the secretary authentically at home.
That's true.
They need They need to make real moves to make this happen. They need to get them back into the workforce. That's important.
Stu's a story guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least get him. Get them all in Chatsworth and just quarantine them. I guess that's a little regional humor for people from California. Chatsworth, that's where they shoot all the pornography.
Okay.
It was funny when I thought of it, not so much now. So science, that's a thing. A team of researchers, they've actually developed a smart toilet.
Yes.
With 4 Why?
No, I didn't see the rest of it.
Why?
Yeah. I'm like,
Did you get excited?
Just in case you ever wondered how much prep Gerald A. does.
You're stunned by this smart
This
toilet
is not
story.
going to age well for him.
No, it won't.
It's going to age about as well as anyone who said, "Trust the World Health Organization." You know what will age well? Don't touch China, asshole. That man,
that's not ever
he
going
should
on.
be on Mount Rushmore.
It's true. They're going to kill him first.
A team of researchers, they developed a smart toilet with 4 cameras that can identify users based on their, quote, anal print. This comes from Vice, so you know it's legit.
Yeah.
Each user of the toilet is identified through their fingerprint, and the data is securely stored. Now, there's an argument, especially now with the new economy, of where we'll end up with automation kind of hitting the reset button.
Right. Yeah. Right.
In striking that balance, though, some would argue that it's become invasive, and in this instance, technology has just gone too far.
Brendan,
Hey.
how you doing?
Good.
Staying healthy?
Yep. Yeah. Staying healthy.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Health is the most important thing to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You got any plans after this?
No, probably just gonna grab lunch or something.
Lunch. Nice. It's important to stay fed.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't eaten yet.
I don't want to.
He just wants a friend.
That's why I live in a cabin, and I don't even have a rotary phone.
Off grid.
Wow.
I like the idea of four cameras in a toilet could be another thing the porn company sends out for equipment.
Well, they do.
Yeah,
Just
there
the
you
actresses
go.
don't know about it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just a man from Hong Kong with a
Still
different
with the
genre going, okay, and plop. Finally, we'll just remove that entirely from the show.
Appreciate that.
No, I'm joking. We can't remove it. This
None of
is
it.
live to tape. We're not Rhett and Link. Finally, a man dressed up as they drew first blood,
They did.
not myself.
Jerks.
I really want them to. I want them to come back to
We
the
do.
faith because I don't want them to go to hell. Finally, a man dressed up. It's the same reason they have a problem with Islam. Dressed up as a popular children's. Oh, come on! Everyone gets quiet at that.
Yeah. What?
I
always find that so funny when people get mad that you're like, oh, I think Muhammad is a false prophet. Really? I can't believe you would say that. Well, hold on a second. He said that everything Jesus said
was wrong.
Didn't mean that. Okay. Finally, there was a man. He dressed up as a popular children's dinosaur, Barney, to visit a young girl during quarantine. We have a picture of the man in question, which does seem to.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Joe. He just seems to have free reign now that Bernie's dropped out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
You're
so
going to see
creative.
Biden unchained.
Yeah, well, they had to go with the youthful option of the two. I mean,
Yes,
he's 77.
Yes,
you had to go young. You had to go young.
The guy had a little pep in his step.
Yeah.
I mean, his brain has deteriorated beyond all recognition, but he still walks right.
Well, I think if they do a Control-Delete on him occasionally, he'd be okay. That's the problem. They never reboot him.
He doesn't because he doesn't know how to reboot. He's on phone with tech support because he wants to outsource all American jobs.
Well, that's true.
Control Alt what? Huh? I don't have a keyboard. Sir, that's a typewriter. Who stopped? Really though, with Barney, it's been Biden all along. Looking back, we should have seen this coming. Are you ready, kids? Okay. I sniff you, you touch me. Just don't tell your family with a great big and a touch from two. Won't you my...
Wow.
That doesn't even make sense.
That's yeah.
That's rough.
Barney, no.
Learn how to curse properly.
Language,
Uncle
Barney.
Joe.
Do you have to bleep
I don't believe so. No, I don't.
It's
think
really
so.
all the context around.
Yes.
What's funny is there will be 20 YouTube videos of people trying to crack that code.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you no one will come close.
No.
Take a guess?
No.
No. Here's the thing with Joe Biden and talking about, we'll get back to the World Health Organization because that's why you're here. But
Soon enough.
honestly, with Joe Biden, I think he's in trouble. We've been talking about this for a long time. People are joking.
well,
I don't
yeah.
think it's funny anymore. Did you guys see his most recent gaffe?
The case where we cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
It's a comedic crutch, but I like it.
It's helpful.
Thank you, Hans.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry about your divorce, but
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
if it's any consolation. Hey, with this, again, it's hashtag Mug Club Quarantine. Enter in the promo code Quarantine, $30 off. We have some fans from the week. Quarter Black Garrett, bring them up. Who do we got?
We got JT, David D, and David Englehart. Also, they're enjoying some nice beverages.
You know what? That's the Black Rifle Coffee of the Month Club, and I have not yet received that. I keep trying to sign up, and they say it's full. Hey, Black Rifle, can you return a call? Please? I've been waiting on that for a long time. I want to try the single origin Ethiopian Yirgacheffe because I'm an affected
Listen, they are no respecter of persons, Stephen. You will wait in line like everyone else.
No. No, listen. I mean, let's be honest. I should be treated like royalty. I'm not gonna sleep with my sister.
Right, sure.
But I want the perks.
That's not
so
that kind of
let's go to right now. Everyone's been talking. We talked about it initially over a week ago. The World Health Organization, specifically in addressing China, and now I know that a lot of other people have sort of been picking up these talking points, which is a great thing.
Finally.
But let's get specifically into how they are synonymous and really everything wrong with the World Health Organization. I think this is the first time we've done it with an organization.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's been individuals up until now. They're number one.
Entity.
So, if people haven't been following, they've been actually trending this week as they've been celebrating the anniversary of the World Health Organization's, founding. I guess it's a celebratory thing. This is what they do.
It was on 7th April 1948 that W.H.O. came into being.
Because I want my ambassador to be Neil deGrasse Tyson had sex with a Somali pirate from Captain Phillips.
Why, Neil?
No.
I'm joking.
You have standards, Neil.
Of course, it's a joke. Gay men can't make babies.
Oh, that's right.
It's not how it works. Of course, everyone out there, everyone they love and they trust the World Health Organization, and that's why we have CBS, ABC, NBC. They've decided to come together to air the World Health Organization. Can I just say WHO from now on? Does that work?
Go ahead. Say WHO.
The WHO's special.
WHO.
I love how everyone here's like, yes, please do, and don't bring the foot back up.
Please.
Yeah, I don't want to see that again. Please keep that below.
I will bring it. I will be a spite foot. So everyone here. Stay in line. It's One World Together at Home. It's an event with Colbert, Kimmel, and Jimmy Fallon hosting. And this is another example of, they say like, well, this is just about humanity. It's not political. And I just don't think they understand that they have a blind spot, that the World Health Organization, WHO, I'm sorry, I just don't like abbreviations. Yeah. It is a political wing.
Yeah.
They do have a political agenda. And unfortunately, it's aligned with people who hate everything the United States is about. And you know what? I really just want the left to understand this. Let's not even look at the fact that they hate America. I get it. You hate America, so you want to link arms. How about the fact that you cannot boycott The Gap and support an organization that excludes Taiwan and supports the most severe abuses of human rights of any modernized country.
Right.
Yeah, and they do it under the guise of World Health, right? So they're obviously there just to help us. They're this, great wing, and you start digging in a little bit, and this kind of freaks you out. We'll get to some of those points.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people may say, well, why has Trump been doing this? And let's explain why. He's obviously been bashing WHO for how it handled the outbreak with coronavirus, and he threatened to cut their funding. Of course, the media is beside themselves.
The WHO sent out multiple coronavirus alerts earlier this year, in fact, declaring it a global health emergency back in January. The president largely dismissed those warnings, saying also in January it's going to be just fine. That's a direct quote. Now, as Ben Tracy reports, Mr. Trump claims the WHO failed.
They call it wrong. They missed the call.
The president is shifting blame for the spread of the coronavirus to the World Health Organization.
I don't know if it's shifting, if just so keeping it exactly where it always should have been.
Yeah.
It's like, did someone shift the dining room tip? No, it's where it's always been, you shifty son of a bitch. So the anchor, you see that, and you've worked in media for so long, you see what's happening there, right? That the anchor is giving this impression that WHO was declaring coronavirus a global health emergency while Donald Trump was ignoring it.
Right.
Trump declared coronavirus a public health emergency the very same day that WHO made the declaration.
Really?
And in addition to that, he restricted travel from China. How did the WHO, not the WHO.
Not the WHO. Yeah,
I won't get food again. Teenage Raceland. It's the racist compression.
Yeah. It really is.
It's like an ace bandage of racism, this room.
It's like when a pilot has to compress the cabin.
Right.
Right.
Only if the pilot had disdain for an entire group of people.
Of course. Yeah.
No, all groups of people, really, technically.
An organization, a communist front organization, effectively. So how did I keep saying the WHO. How did WHO respond?
WHO.
No travel bans. They were against travel bans, and they would argue that it's not effective. Well, you know what? Listen, if your country is one big giant petri dish and they're lying about it, I think that putting a stop on leisurely vacations is a good start.
Probably a good start.
Yes. Yeah, probably. You could still get flights from Wuhan to JFK.
Right now?
Right now.
How?
Really?
There's one seat available on Saturday's flight. I almost booked it just so I could book it and then cancel it so someone else didn't buy it.
Right. Yeah.
Because it didn't seem like it was a good idea to have any new visitors.
It was actually probably touring with Kevin Smith, and then he couldn't book it. He's like, it's only one seat. How do I buckle this? Do I need to lay down like Liam Neeson in The Gray? It's fat and disgusting. The WHO, they were praising, by the way, China's handling of this pandemic. Okay, throughout the entirety of it.
Bending over backwards.
Let's be clear about this. This is important. The timeline matters. Yeah. Obviously, not all Chinese people. We've been very clear about that. I hate the Chinese government, and by proxy, WHO, because I empathize with the Chinese people who are abused and kept under the thumb of the Chi-Coms. Can I say that? Chi-Coms, Chinese communists? Can I say that? Or is that considered racist?
I guess.
I mean, everything's considered racist, but I don't think that's racist.
Chi-Com. Okay, that's fine. Who cares? So,
wait, the World Health Organization cares?
Who cares? I have no idea
We're so
anymore.
screwed with this one.
I know I don't. Do join Mug Club Quarantine, $30 off, because
it gets
we
better.
very well may not be here. So they were praising China, and it matters as far as the timeline, because all along the way, China, they were destroying evidence of the virus when it was first discovered. They silenced whistleblowers, arrested them. Some of them just disappeared because they were kept in abhorrent conditions. Yeah. Plus, by the way, there were studies. This is something very important to keep in mind. Well, everyone wants to blame Donald Trump, and I understand if you want to have the argument that it wasn't the ideal response, of course, I get that. But that's been nearly everywhere, particularly China, when you see unbiased studies show that if they'd have used the proper mitigation techniques rather than focusing on keeping up appearances, love, and the WHO doing their dirty work, 95%. 95% of the cases.
I mean, how does the rest of the world not lay that at, not the Chinese people? Like, okay, can we all get past that? But not
Let's
lay that.
stop trying to hedge words.
No, you just did it a second ago.
Yeah, but now I did it so that we can
We're covered?
Yeah, we're all covered.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So now, how do we not lay that at their feet? Like, wouldn't it... Put it on us. Like, what if we had done the exact same thing?
Right.
Would the world lay that at our feet? They laid the economic problem
at our feet. We should lay it at their binding feet.
Their beautiful, tiny feet.
Their tiny, beautiful, bound feet of fury.
That's only ballerinas.
I won't get food.
Dancers.
Yeah. What happened? You buy my feet right?
Put it away.
Oh, my God. I size 8. You tell me size 6.
It's disgusting.
That's going to leave a mark.
Is that COVID feet?
I don't know. I don't think that's how it works.
He's got COVID foot.
We were about to say something there.
maybe we should just reduce their funding by 95%.
Yes!
That would be a nice, easy
There we go.
solution, I think.
I agree.
We give about 10 times, basically, to the WHO. Almost $900 million to China's $90 million.
I think same thing with NATO.
I think we should
same
do
thing with
it.
NATO.
Yeah.
I'm not saying completely eliminate it, but you know what? Everyone pledged to pay 2%. I think the average is like 0.9%. We pay 3.6%. How about this? We're not only not going to honor the agreement anymore, not 2%, we will pay the exact average of all other nations. By the way, protect your own borders. Have fun.
Yeah. Good luck.
And here's what matters, though, too. Has the World Health Organization ever mentioned any of this? Mitigate. If it's the World Health Organization, the fact that they lied about the virus, the fact that they silenced whistleblowers, many of whom disappeared, some of whom are dead, and the fact that they could have mitigated it by 95%, if your goal is to be the World Health Organization, seems to me that would matter. If there's no political motive, if the goal is entirely to solve the pandemic, why not highlight that international abuse of power?
Yeah.
Instead, not only do they not do it, they just keep repeating Chinese propaganda points. Without question. That's the issue here.
Yeah, and in 2003, so just for a comparison, right? So we're calling them out on their response right now, saying, oh, China did this, and they're like, oh, no, that's not a big deal. In 2003, China responded the same way they always respond to these kinds of things. They hid this information. They didn't say anything about it for the SARS outbreak. They were blasted by the WHO. The WHO actually had leadership that stood up to China and said, that's not okay. Same thing that they're doing now. The only thing that's changed, Tedros, the head guy. And we'll talk about that in a second. There's a huge connection with him in China. That is very, very interesting why he's not going after them.
I appreciate it.
There's a situation, too, with the Ebola thing that broke out in Liberia a few years ago.
Yeah.
The World Health Organization went in there first, and they said to everybody there, if you get Ebola, you die, so don't get it.
Right.
So the people were getting it, and were like, well, I can't get any treatment, so I might as well just stay home with my family.
Right.
And then they spread it to all of their family members. It wasn't until organizations like Samaritan's Purse and faith organizations came in and said, hey, guys, you can get treated for this, that they actually were able to turn that back.
Yeah. But Franklin Graham doesn't believe that Muhammad's preachings that Jesus was a fraud is correct. Therefore, he's a hate monger, and their work with Ebola doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't go to his bed.
So don't you forget your mistakes, Liberia. Keeping my eye and foot on you. By the way, hit the notification bell if you are not subscribed to Mug Club, and I know that many of you aren't yet. Subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. Hit all notifications, and do consider subscribing to Crider Bits. Of course, the podcast go. It's not iTunes anymore. It's not
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense to have the toilet robot.
Yeah.
Really? You're on my side now.
Yeah.
Oh.
I never was against it.
Oh, okay.
I just think it's invasive, but I like a little invasiveness. So here's another claim that was made by the World Health Organization. They repeated China's lies about how coronavirus was spread, and they said that there was no evidence of human-to-human transmission on January 12th. Now, I want to be clear and hold them to the same standard that we hold people can make mistakes. Right? People can be wrong. For example, the Trump administration thought that it wouldn't be as severe as it would, and that is true.
Right.
They declared an emergency, same timeline, but they didn't think it would be as severe because they were given information from China, and the World Health Organization corroborated. So I am not mad because they said no evidence of human-to-human transmission on January 12th because they made a mistake. I'm mad because Taiwan directly gave WHO evidence of human-to-human transmission in December. They provided them with proof of doctors getting sick from the coronavirus patients. It was clear evidence of human-to-human transmission. So why would the World Health Organization not listen and also go out and tell everyone else the exact opposite because they don't even recognize Taiwan as its own state?
Yeah, and that's one of the key reasons. I said it just a second ago. Tedros was elected in 2017, the day after he came out and affirmed China's one China policy, meaning that Taiwan is not separate from us. They are a part of us.
Right.
He was backing their play up, essentially saying they don't get to see the
You also just, there's so many horrible things in that phrase. You just threw one one child policy in like it was a baby in a bathtub in China. My point is, one child. One China? I thought you said one child.
One China.
Because I was at the Cancun Climate Summit when I watched Ted Turner praise China's one child policy.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, oh.
That's not a
You're
good idea.
evil. So,
one China, not one child.
One China.
They have like a theme, one something.
Yeah.
It's either child, China, whatever.
Bob Marley's rolling over in his grave.
Bob.
I don't even know what one love means. If you have it tattooed, you're a moron.
I'm just glad they're not getting any information from Israel, because then they would never recognize
No, they
any
would never
know.
They would ask Palestine. Although the reason I want to throw a jab at Pakistan anytime I can. By the way, this is a really bad jab.
That's a terrible
That's like a
jab,
celebrity boxing jab. What's this? That's like a paintbrush. No, because I don't remember what was it.
Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. I have received complaints to Twitter, violations of policies, not from people in Pakistan. The government of Pakistan. The country of Pakistan.
So that's one.
Yeah.
One country on the. We got a lot more to go.
Oh no, I have
There's a lot more countries.
I'm pretty sure
that need to
China's
hate you.
on there. There've been quite a few.
Well, not officially. We need to make that happen.
No, officially.
Oh.
Yeah. Very officially. Not casually.
Oh.
This isn't casual
You've got
Friday.
the letter with the letterhead and everything?
It's not like Wacky Wednesday where you roll up your high socks kind of beheading in Pakistan. It's the full put me out in a soccer field so the children can throw dates at me.
Oh, okay.
Figs, I don't know.
Figs, dates,
they
rocks,
grow in a
they're
dry
all the
climate.
same.
So here's the thing too that really does matter with Taiwan. Obviously, they deny Taiwan sovereignty. So they continue to block Taiwan from membership because China doesn't recognize them. And this is important because of the reason for Taiwan being a separate state. And that's because specifically it applies to the gross human abuses of human rights.
Right.
Get out of the show map. Someone was there and then the producer getting in the show map. I have these facts and they're like in there. I will murder you.
Changing them?
So they won't even let Taiwan have a seat at the table as an observer.
No.
And the reason for that is because Taiwan has been outspoken against China. This is something we've shown before, but I think it needs to be seen as many times as possible. It's as chilling as a clip gets. You don't need a conspiracy. Watch what happens when a World Health Organization official is asked specifically about Taiwan.
The WHO considered Taiwan's membership.
Awkward.
Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
Unreal.
Aaron Sorkin is surly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's shocking.
That's horrible.
I just
That is
imagine
terrible,
that just worked if that was the level of accountability from every international organization. Like the UN, I don't know, asking Donald Trump about waterboarding, the Geneva Convention. Like, I don't like the question, I won't respond to it. Favorite tree?
Well, I love how he had the balls to go. I didn't hear your question. Can you? And she goes,
Ask
I'll
a
repeat it.
different
He goes, no. Let's move on to another one. Well, you don't even know what that one was.
It's just
like,
talk
hang
about
up.
terrifying. You're about to say something, I think, Stu?
Yeah, no. I am amazed by the World Health Organization though, because they continue to do this. They do it with our money. And
mostly our money.
Yeah, mostly our money. And look, we do. This is the type of thing I hate international organizations.
Yes.
This is the type of thing, though, when you come to pandemics, it would actually be useful if they were doing the job.
Right.
They did the job with smallpox very long ago.
There's a role for an international organization when you are trying to stop an international spread of a virus.
Yeah.
That's different from the UN, where it's like, we should all be nice to each other and thank God for the USA.
And World Health Organization is needed for this type of thing, too.
Right.
In Liberia, we were received very well there, Americans. We were loved in Liberia, so we can go in there and use our expertise, and they're happy about it. China's not. Right. They hide it from us, and it turns into something that's overturning basically the entire global economy.
Yeah. Well, and so we're so interconnected now. We depend on an organization like this to be able to go into a country that isn't necessarily going to be honest and be the honest voice, the adults in the room that say, "Look, this is really serious. Everybody needs to get prepared so that we can all do this." But now they have a bias, and if they're going to have a bias towards anybody, 900 million versus 90 million. Why in the hell are you picking the guy that gives you 90 million a year and the one that gives you 10 times that much you don't do anything for?
And why the hell are they so focused on oppressing a nation that just wants their independence? Listen, leftists out there, you root for the underdog. I mean, that's the only way that you could justifiably sort of go into bat for Palestine when they're launching rockets from grade schools. It's just because they're really bad at war, so you feel sympathy for them. I get it. They suck at war, right? I understand. And so somehow you want to give them the moral high ground. How about Taiwan? How about Taiwan? Or were you you forgot 7 years in Tibet? It was forgettable. It wasn't a great film. But you understand the point. The Chinese are not your friend as you go out there and bitch about sweatshops with Nike. and then say trust the World Health Organization who's complicit. And again, this matters because people have made mistakes, I will say, across the board. But there is a stark contrast between the approach of the media, China, the World Health Organization, and it's important to remember that they've all acted as one and the same right now, and President Donald Trump. First off, Taiwan, he's already hinted at recognizing Taiwan in the past. He was the first United States president to call Taiwan's president since, I think, was it 79?
Nice.
Since 1979, I think.
Great year.
And that sent, of course, the media into hysterics. They were furious about him. And the truth is, too, while we're talking about Taiwan, why it matters, first off, it's reprehensible to not listen to a country simply because you want to assist in their oppression because you like China. That being said, from a pragmatic point of view, Taiwan handled the coronavirus better than almost any other country, in large part. Why? Because they don't trust anything China says.
They know them too well.
They know them too well. It was similar to South Korea, and we'll get back to that in a second. It was one of the earliest countries to be hit. It has one of the lowest infection rates and death rates. Despite being right next to China, they almost entirely avoided the virus. Their new cases peaked, I think, back in March 20, 22nd, 24th, something like that. Population of about 25 million people. They've only had 5 deaths. Also, keep in mind, incredible population density. We're not just talking about spread across Wyoming here. Now, how did they pull this off, Taiwan? And World Health Organization, I hope you're listening because you might want to take some notes. They started inspecting passengers from Wuhan all the way back in December. They banned Wuhan residents and suspended tours to China in January. Then they banned all Chinese visitors February 6th. Again, you look at South Korea, what they did. They didn't have a full quarantine. Now, granted, they doxed their citizens, which you can't do here in the United States, and I don't think we want to do it here.
No,
but they acted early on, and they were immediately skeptical of any information being fed to them from China. So this idea that it's anti-Asian, no. Just the government of those assholes. And this is one of those rare instances where people are like, ooh, I don't know where they're from. Should I just say Asian? I don't want to say, because we always used to say Chinese. People say, in this case, Chinese government. Only you. Not the Koreans, okay? Not the Taiwanese. Chinese, bad. So, China ass government.
Well, you can focus on that, or you can focus on the fact that you're racist if you mention that eating bats is a bad idea. And to be clear, my opposition to them eating bats has nothing to do with coronavirus. I just want them to stop it. I don't care if eating bats cured coronavirus. I would say still stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awful. Those things, those creatures are terrible.
I will personally pay Sarah McLachlan's royalties on the wings of the baby.
Wow.
No.
Wow, that almost was Sarah McLachlan. I feel like she was here.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a live performance.
Wow.
I knew a lot of good lesbian singers. Really? Come to my window. Bat soup. It's the B-side.
Was that the international sign for having bat soup?
I think so.
That was?
It's corn on the cob.
Okay.
Except with bats.
Trying to put a little bit of butter.
Well, you were talking about Melissa Etheridge, so I wasn't sure what you were doing.
That's horrible. You're disgusting, Stu.
How dare you?
By the way, let's go back to South Korea. Keep in mind, South Korea, they began moving to create testing kits January 16th. And again, they worked with private industry 2 weeks before the World Health Organization actually declared COVID an emergency. So this is important to note that Donald Trump values Taiwan's approach. So if you want to talk about the international committee and you want to talk about who's supporting people in why is it racist for someone, for example, to mention bat soup or to mention the Chinese Communist government? But you don't recognize that Donald Trump actually is supporting the people, the Taiwanese people who've been oppressed by China. And the World Health Organization doesn't even want to recognize them, doesn't even want to talk about recognizing them.
Won't even let them in the room because they're afraid of offending China.
Right.
That's incredible to me. I don't understand.
We do have to get to Anthony Cumia, and of course it's youtube.com/Stu Does America show. That's right. Horrible name.
Show. Yeah, I know.
Good name for the show. Horrible URL.
Okay.
But Gerald, thank you. Here's the thing. Donald Trump should cut funding to the World Health Organization. And here's something else that people aren't recognizing. You know why the working class Americans, when we're talking about the Rust Belt, don't think that you're going in to bat for them? Do you know why, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders? Because you don't even go into bat for the working class in China, let alone Taiwan. These are people who are being paid pennies a day to work in sweatshop factories. The World Health Organization turns a blind eye. The one nation that tried to get themselves separated and say, hey, we don't want to do it the way that China does it. Donald Trump says, good on you. I'm going to actually try and recognize you and support you, just like I support the steel mill worker in Pittsburgh. And the World Health Organization says, no. We want to stand with the government who oppresses its people people and then lies to the working class people across the pond, ensuring a pandemic when 95% of it could have been mitigated had we just done our job. I don't think we need to be funding the World Health Organization at all. If you want to find someone to blame, you don't need to shift the blame from Donald Trump to World Health Organization. You just need to keep it squarely where it always was. Chinese government and the World Health Organization. We are cleaning up their mess. No one's doing it perfectly, but how about we start with this? Let's look out for the working class. Let's look out for the underdog. In this case, it's the underdog in the United States who've been screwed by the international economic crippling, and the underdog in Taiwan, and also the underdog in China when they're not part of the elite ruling class in the government, or Jackie Chan shooting propaganda commercials for the government. Good God, can we make them included in Red Dawn? I can't believe that we catered to their stupid film market and changed it to North Korea. We should have seen the giant Chinese red flag, flipped them the bird, and said Wolverines forever. Was it Wolverines? Wolverines forever. Don't believe China. Don't trust China. China asshole. All right, Anthony Cumia after
All right,
this.
here we go.
My foot is really purple.
Put it away.
Okay, made it. Excellent. Now all you have to do is access that fascist computer mainframe.
This will be too easy. Smash the Oh my non-conforming, genderless, non-binary, two-spirited god.
What's happening? Did they find you?
No, they have no search history.
Abort! Abort! River Moon, get out of there!
At least what you do online is your business. Protect your business. ExpressVPN.
It's simple. If you use a VPN, great. If you don't, you should be. If you want to use one, use the one that we use and trust. Use the link at expressvpn.com/Crowder. Get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. expressvpn.com/Crowder. You should use a VPN, if nothing else, after coronavirus in South Korea, and you don't want your location to be revealed to your neighbor, because here in this country, they could be Antifa. You should use a VPN. If you're still not convinced, there is no, it's not my job.
For Black Rifle Coffee Company, the Colombian sun is not just a fair weather friend. All year round, the sun keeps the mountain air as mild as spring. For the coffee trees of Van Valdez, it is the best climate in the world, supplying only the best coffee beans. From the farm of diligent Van Valdez to your door, Black Rifle Coffee freshly roasts each batch to order. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle Coffee is through the Coffee Club. Chosen coffee is roasted, packaged, and shipped free to your door. All you need to do is go to blackriflecoffee.com/Crowder and order today.
No hay nada más rico que tener mi jarro lleno de Black Rifle Coffee. Cada lote de café es primo de origen de alrededor del mundo asada para tu orden. Creado y operado de veteranos. Es el único café digno a este jarro.
Visit blackriflecoffee.com/Crowder and order today.
Viva Black Rifle Coffee.
This is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we don't spend enough time together like this, You're busy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, just pray an appropriate amount of times.
I see you're eating your vegetables. That's good. Roughage is important.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that at your age, but when you get to be mine, it adds up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you seen Richard Jewell yet?
No, I haven't. I've been meaning to see it. But,
it's good.
It's pretty quick.
It is good. It's worth it. It's a fascinating story.
Yeah, I should check it out.
Oh, hold on, entering this. Yeah, you have anal fissures.
Watch this and more at our other channel, Crowder Bits.
And see, that song is perfect. It's a Street Fighter theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all have to together, because we can't fight. We have to together as one fight COVID-19.
COVID-19.
That's
Just
if
like
nothing
Bison.
else. That's what this program is about. Is showing everyone that we are only as strong as our weakest link. Speaking of weakest link, I love our next guest. He's a fantastic conversationalist, one of the best broadcasters in the business, and I mean that honestly. You know him from Opie and Anthony Show. You know him Compound Media, of course. You can use a promo code Compound20 at compoundmedia.com, and in case you make it your second subscription service.
For sure, the second one.
But you can follow him on the Cumia Show. Anthony Cumia, how are you, sir?
Very good. I'm here with, of course, my co-host Dave Landau, because we're cohorting together during this whole quarantine thing. It's very strange. A lot of people have been doing the Brady Bunch boxes,
right?
Where they do their show that way. But we said screw it. He's staying here. He's living at my estate here out on Long Island.
Okay.
In the North Wing, and glad to have him. Drew, our guy in I like to call it the out of control room, because it's just crazy.
You are a delight.
It's wacky.
This sounds like the stuff that nightmares are made of. He's living with you in Long Island, and as you referred to, the Brady Bunch box, or CNN calls it the golden standard of broadcasting. Did I ever tell you? This is a true. When I was on Fox News one time, so they actually, because they want to make it seem more international, it was either Doug Schoen or Lonnie Davis, one of those stuffed suits. And so we were in the same room, but they put us in separate boxes because they were saying we want people to feel like you're in different cities. And at the end of the segment, I said, whether it was Doug or Lanny, I'll go with Doug Schoen. He irritates me more today. I just said, hey, Doug, put her there. And I put my hand for high five into his box. And I was suspended on air for 2 weeks. I don't know if I was really officially suspended, but I know for 2 weeks all the regular spots were gone, and it was worth it. It was worth it. So you're both in you're both in Long Island right now. I wanted to ask you, can I actually go to a clip first, because obviously New York is a hotbed for infectious diseases right now.
Oh yeah.
And I know you have some strong opinions on this, Anthony, and I'm sure, Dave, you do as well. Let's go to Governor Cuomo. I always forget if it's Cuomo or de Blasio, being what he be.
I want to be, frankly, more aggressive on the enforcement. We're going to increase the potential maximum fine from $500 to $1,000. But it's not really about the fine. Nobody wants the money. We want the compliance.
Okay. First off, do you buy that nobody wants the money? I mean, someone wants some money, right?
Of course. This is a guy that throughout his tenure as governor of the state of New York has done all these midnight legislation deals where laws get signed in. Unbelievable. The highest taxes in the nation. Gun regulations that are so ridiculous that no one ever got to debate or try to even put in their own opinion on.
How'd you get away with it, though? Every time I see you're packing a new piece.
I am in compliance with New York State. I will not be one of those guys that say, well, I'll just give up or I'll be illegal. They're trying to get legitimate gun owners to break the law so they could take their guns away.
Sure.
But I refuse. So I go with their crappy little 10-round magazine in my AR. It looks ridiculous. It looks like you pulled your pants down in the locker room and you got a tiny little friggin' schwanz hanging down.
I know the feeling.
I want a big 30-round banana clip, and I got this little stub coming out of the bottom of my AR.
Yeah.
God forbid you have a bayonet lug, which is one of the classifications for an assault weapon.
Sure.
Because you know how many robberies are done with a screaming World War I bayonet charge. Over the top, boys, let's take this trench and rob the 7-Eleven.
And he's just coming in with one of those wraps around their head, like Marley in Christmas Carol, wrapping his jaw. You don't know what that does. You're like, this is not going to fix your jaw.
He's injured.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that about bayonets. But you were, if I'm not mistaken, don't you have a permit to carry in New York?
Yeah. I had one for the city, but I'm reworking on getting that back, which looks impossible. It just seems impossible these days. I did it when Bloomberg was still in office, maybe even Giuliani. God, it was a long time ago. And now with de Blasio as mayor in New York. And then there was some kind of scandal, of course, because they were taking payoffs to give people permits.
Right.
So that whole thing ended. Okay. So I'm good in New York State, just not in the confines of the city, where, by the way, it's needed more than anywhere else.
I was going to say.
Carry in New York State.
Yeah, if nothing else, just to put the bats out of their misery before consuming. I mean, I know that we're a little rough around the edges, but we're none for cruelty here.
Right.
No. Dave is from Detroit, so he knows some of the finer aspects of mental patients running around a city.
Hold on a second. Dave, where are you from in Detroit? Because everyone says Detroit, but where are you actually from?
Well, I'm from where you were born, Grosse Pointe, but I was born in Detroit.
Right, yeah.
We do go into Detroit to buy our guns out of brown paper bags.
Right, yes. Yes, contrary to the people who sell them in paper bags, they walk into Grosse Pointe and then they ride back into Detroit. That's very common.
That's usually what they do. You kind of want to go into their area for the gun, though, because cops do stop them the second they cross that border.
Yeah. It is true. Well, my dad is from, so he was actually inside of 7 Mile, there off of
Yeah, we
Cadger
talked
Road.
about it. That's where I was born, yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, my dad lived there, so sometimes he'll have someone say like, "Oh, I'm from Detroit." My dad will go, "Wait, no, hold on a second. You're from Saginaw. You're
Not
from
the
Mount
same.
Pleasant. Not the same thing." His house, I think, went for $745 last year. The house he grew up in.
He put in marble,
and he didn't want to accept how shitty his neighborhood was. When we were driving through it, I was like, "Wow, Dad, this is really ghetto." He's like, no, I remember that was Mr. Naples or whatever his name. He used to make handmade canoes. I'm like, Dad, that's a meth house now. It's like, but it wasn't then.
Gone.
You're like, this guy's giving me bird calls and trying to sell me rocks. It seems like anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, we've gotten off the beaten path here. So New York, how are you? What's your perception? They're living in New York City. How are they handling it? Because all eyes are on New York right now.
Yeah, we seem to be the city and the state, but also New York City is a huge hotbed, as they want to call it. It's terrible. It's the United Soviet Socialist Republic of New York, and it's so restrictive. I really do think I'm not crazy enough to think this is a hoax or that. I'm still on the fence about whether it was purposefully put out there
by the Jews.
This virus,
I don't agree.
By someone or something. I don't know. I don't know as much as anyone else doesn't know. So what am I going to just take someone's word for it? But the thing is, however this thing spread, there are certain people in government that are using it way to their advantage. I think this is a test to see how far we can be pushed and bent over before we say, hey, enough. And boy, we literally spun around, shoved our own heads up our asses because we're just taking it. We really are.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm trying to think of the physicality because you're very flowery with your language, but I don't think that spinning around would assist in putting your head up your own ass. You would have to invert more so, right? When you have to go through the legs?
Yeah, I mean like putting yourself into twist. Kind of a loop.
Okay, well, it's not entirely accurate, but we'll allow it. We're all a little rusty today.
We don't want to be fake news here.
Right, yeah, exactly. We don't want to be the World Health Organization. Taiwan's like, what about me? Shut up! This is, I think I said this early on that I won't be shamed into panicking. And it's a real virus, obviously, and people need to take precautions. But a long time ago, I said, listen, when we look at the actual mortality rates and we look at the deaths, and one thing too, your state, by the way, is just registering anyone who dies who has coronavirus as a corona death. And that's not even the standard in influenza season, meaning if someone has leukemia and is undergoing treatment and they have a life expectancy of 3 months and they get influenza, they don't just list it as an influenza death. But that's what they're doing with COVID-19.
You die when you're 95. You die because you're 95.
Right, yeah. I mean, the Chinese wet market just accelerated the process a little bit.
Yeah. It's I think if you got into a car accident at this point and died of massive head trauma, and they somehow figured out you had corona, they would list it as a corona death.
Right.
And that's why New York State has these unbelievably high numbers. It's all going to turn out to be a money grab once this is all said and done. They're going to go, now we're putting this bill out there to prepare for the next pandemic.
Right.
And it's just going to be everything under the sun on the bill. It's going to be an influx of cash that's unbelievable.
Right.
And by the way, there will be no preparation for a pandemic. It'll go in cronies' pockets and these crappy bullshit programs like
to make Pelosi's eyebrows higher. Like, what just happened?
Right.
We just
Yeah.
I don't know. Did we just sign another stimulus? And now every time we sign a stimulus, your eyebrows go. I have no idea. There's no causation. Is not correlation. And yeah, was the death due to the slight air pockets in the lung? No, I think it was the Subaru on the overall chest cavity. But it's interesting that you say money grab. Have you seen this new conspiracy now where they're saying the reason Donald Trump, and they're really going hard after chloroquine, and we were early on this, they're really going after it, and I think it's just because it turns out he's right. And by the way, the science was right, so they're going after it hard. Now they're trying to say that someone who is a partial owner in one of the companies that will be obviously creating more hydroxychloroquine tablets visited Trump's golf course. Like, it's a generic drug, Bayer. Makers of aspirin will be printing these out like they're ecstasy tablets on a little paper roll. Everyone will. It could not be a less profitable drug. The conspiracies now are just so outlandish. It's gotten to a point where I don't even necessarily know how to process the news. So I just go to Joe Biden, sounding like he drank a bucket of salt water and ate his own shit.
It's anything Trump does. It's they've been saying that if he said it was a horrible drug, a bad drug, never use chloroquine, it would be all over the place, and the media would be saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's against this miracle drug."
Right.
It's a generic now. It doesn't have I guess you have a certain amount of years of exclusivity if you invent the drug.
Yeah, with the patent.
And then after a while, anyone can make it. This is like you said, it's like aspirin. It's like nothing. There's no money to be made. And how many other people from other businesses have played golf at Trump's golf course?
I know.
It's so ridiculous how they try to tie everything in to this guy passing up, leaving his job as one of the richest guys in America, a successful businessman, Donald Trump, going into the presidency where he's not making any money. He's giving it away and trying to make it sound like this was his scheme to get rich.
Right.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
His scheme all along was to ensure that China continued their wet markets in a country that he hates, to ensure that a disease comes over here where he will receive a very small, not quite sizable, but significant kickback from a company that would be one of many to print out a generic, unprofitable drug. Sorry, Dave, I cut you off. I was very rude. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I'm just with you completely. The stuff's readily available. Anybody can get it. And just to watch people argue, it was nice to see that somebody in Michigan in politics did admit, who was on the Democratic side, that her life was saved by that medication. Yeah. It's readily available. People can get it. It's in tonic water. It's not like you're buying anything that's serious. It's not like it's OxyContin.
Wait. I thought tonic water was quinine.
I thought it was it quinine?
Yeah, it's quinine. Tonic water has quinine in it.
I don't think it has chloroquine. I don't want to have Snopes fact checking this video underneath here, all because Dave decided to get lippy.
I don't like to read.
Well,
I just say what I think.
You just did a taste test like the Pepsi challenge. Seems like chloroquine. I don't know if you saw, we covered, the story that was everywhere, the lady who drank fish tank cleaner. Total speculation, by the way. I think she offed her husband. That's what I think.
We've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I saw your piece on it. It was so good. And I'm just sitting there watching it going, yep. Said that from the start. The second I watched too many episodes of Forensic Files to not see right through this. This is such a Forensic File. It's going to be on Forensic File. Yeah. She looked around, saw something that had chloroquine in it, and decided, what a great way to kill my husband. I'll give him fish tank cleaner.
Opportunistic.
And that's what I believe. Personally, I believe she did.
She made some bye-bye tea. And then she gave herself they'd find it in her. They were like, oh, well, she drank it too. She's clearly not a murderer.
Yeah, it's those. You ever see those cases on Forensic Files where the spouse, the significant other, is stabbed 82 times, which absolutely goes back to the significant other.
Right.
No one robs you and then stabs you 82 times.
Right,
We all learned.
Like, I think it might be personal.
Yeah. and then they stab themselves like superficially once in the shoulder.
Well, you know, the weirdest one was
I tried to fight them off, but that's exactly what she did. She took a little bit of it, and the husband dies from it. She's like, "Oh, I'm so terrible."
And I don't know if you saw that we called the NBC reporter because I was going, hold on a second. This should be catnip to reporters. Lady kills her husband. The only thing that gets them more hard is man dies from Trump medical advice. And so they didn't do any due diligence. And she's like, well, it sounds to me like you have a story and that you want. I said, no. I don't want the story. You take it. You take this information. I'm surprised you didn't look at her voting records or criminal history. They had no interest whatsoever. It is remarkable to me. I think if nothing else, and you've been talking about this, is the media malpractice that is going on right now. The fact that Donald Trump's approval ratings go up and then they say, let's stop running the press briefings. He can't talk directly to the American people. We have to have Wolf Blitzer act as an interpreter because they want to control this.
Yeah, it's the way it's been now for years. It was a little shocking, I think, to America when we first saw how full of shit the mainstream media is. And then now they don't even try to hide it. It's so blatantly there for everyone to see that they're just lying to you for an agenda, to drive an agenda. They're either that or they're so stupid they don't realize that videos are up online. They last forever. What you said last week is still there. You're completely contradicting it this week, but we have that video of you saying the opposite last week.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their goal is here because, like you said, every time they try this, Trump's numbers just go up.
It's remarkable. Speaking of, by the way, I don't even know what we're speaking about, but guidelines. I think we have this tweet we can bring up that you posted about the NYPD. Or at least it was there, and you commented on it. I don't remember exactly the original source of a police officer telling a man that he was going to fine him if he didn't put the distance between him and this lady. And he said, "Well, she's my wife." He said, "I don't care. I'm going to fine you." I mean, if I'm that man, I respond with, "Okay, I'll fine your wife, officer." I just can't believe that this is what's going on right now. You're going to fine a man for being next to his wife? That's what's happening in your state?
There's
fine.
Yeah, why not? Who cares? He's probably like, "Officer, I'm going to sit with my wife. Can you find me so next time I don't have to sit next to her?"
And then, sweet, it's the cop. You can't do anything to beat cop.
The law. 12 feet now.
I'd love to walk hand in hand with you in the park, sweetie, but the cops.
I'm going to go home and stay in the house, and you don't.
Has been just this amazing authoritarian jump during this whole thing.
Yeah.
And the fining thing is ridiculous. If you're supposed to be helping people, I could see going around and going, hey, we're trying to keep people apart.
Right. Like a high school
dance. But a husband and wife obviously are going to be together, but then they're outside. Maybe they're bumping into people they shouldn't be. I don't know. But maybe just say, hey, people, you're not supposed to do this. Not the fine. Like he says the money doesn't matter. Like Cuomo said, it matters. Believe me, every ticket you get in the New York City for double parking and speeding and red light cameras, all those things are all about money. Nothing's about safety.
Look at the size of the ticket, too. You're taking away people's ability to make a living, and then you're charging them for it, and then putting them on house arrest. It's like we all got DUI.
Who would have thought that the biggest act of rebellion we could think up in the year 2020 would be wanting to go to work and have sex with your wife?
That's punk rock right there.
Like, what are you, a member of the Misfits? I'm not Danzig. Just to work. I just have sex with my wife, and I go to work.
That's what I provide.
You're a rebel without a cause. What's your cause? Having sex with your wife?
Madman.
I know. We are all just zany characters. I'm really pissed off. I'll talk about this tomorrow. I pissed off people at the urgent clinic because I thought I broke my foot. It just turns out I tore some crap in there. And I went in, and they were really upset about coronavirus. They wouldn't let my wife come in. Okay, so I put on a mask and sanitizer. I actually brought my own mask. And use this mask. I said, mine's better. And they said, well, use ours. I said, what? No. So it started off on the wrong foot. And I said, so have you had a lot of coronavirus patients? And not the doctor. The doctor was very nice, but the nurse practitioner, who was the guy, he said, yeah, too many. And I said, "Well, what do you got? Do you have a lot of them? Like a lot of them are very. Have you had any deaths?" He said, "No, none yet here." I said, "Have you had any young people who are just out of the blue, or they're on, like, are you running out of ventilators, or people who you would never, you'd never see it coming?" He said, "No, not so much with young people." And so I said, "Oh, okay, so just the dry cough mostly." And he was like, "Well, if you don't," and he said, if you don't think it's that serious, then maybe you shouldn't sanitize your hands." Like, what? How did it escalate this quickly? And then they charged me $100 for a Motrin shot in my ass. That's what they gave me. They were like, "It's Motrin." I was like, "Okay." And then they gave me a bill for $100. I'm like, "Hey, that's expensive ibuprofen. Couldn't you have told me beforehand?" Sorry, I'm burdening with you with this. It's been a rough day, Anthony.
In though, dressed as like the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, like was he just covered from head to toe with goggles on?
No, he was like a minion. No, just your average self-important in scrubs.
Okay. I don't like the idea that male nurses are dressed absolutely like doctors. No.
Yes, it's very confusing.
No, surgeons, like specialty doctors.
Like surgeons, yes. I honestly think they should have to wear the white dress with the hat.
with the little paper hat.
Yes.
Like it's a 1940s movie, like that nurse.
Right, exactly. And by the way, let's be clear, they're all heroes. Every single one of them, 100% comparable to New York firefighters after 9/11. We're just talking about the uniforms. Those guys who went down to the towers, down to ground zero, who are still coughing up soot.
Right.
About 20 years later.
Yeah.
Child's play compared to walking in on a patient who hasn't taken his elderberry syrup.
They don't know toughness.
This is already demonetized. Let's move on. This is going very well. Hey, did you guys watch? Obviously, because you've spent a lot of time with me, you guys are friends. The new Louis C.K. special, and have you seen sort of the controversy surrounding it?
Yes, it's first of all.
Oh wait, hold on. I just realized. Sorry. If you hold that thought, we're gonna go. This is where, if it weren't a Mug Club quarantine, right? Promo code quarantine, you get $30 off. We would go to a break and close, and then it would go to Web Extended. But you get all this for free. So just real quick.
No hay razón por qué tengan que salir de su casa para conseguir café. Solo ordenen café barato de granos demasiado cocidos como Burguiere. Mira, no es Black Rifle Coffee, ni siquiera es fresco y mandado a tu puerta, pero pueden hacer agua sucia como Burguiere. Ok, tus hijos de puta. Burguiere, la mejor parte de despertar es Black Rifle Coffee, tus hijos de puta. ¡Ay, Black Rifle Coffee, puta!
Go to blackriflecoffee.com/Crowder. Use promo code Crowder for 20% off your first purchase.
So endeth the tale of Van Valdez. I'm glad Half Asian Bill's not here today. We're fine. blackriflecoffee.com/Crowder. Use the promo code Crowder. You get 20% off your first order. Listen, if you drink coffee, drink better coffee and support a veteran-owned company. But most importantly, it's fresh roasted. It's just better. I'm a coffee snob. You don't even want to know how snobby I am because I hate myself. Don't worry, I have another bag. We have so many bags here because that's all we drink. blackriflecoffee.com/Crowder. Enter in promo code Crowder. 20% off. If you don't drink coffee, then you should skip twice the speed.
Hey guys, Whistleblower 22 here. You may know of a recent story from the folks at Plebit exposing Governor Andrew Cuomo's very clearly defined nipple piercings. Pretty open and shut case, right? Not so fast. The real meat of this story began when neocon shill and confirmed twig-armed beta male Steven Crowder had this to say.
Right there.
Well, that might not be nipple rings. He may have pulled out nipple hair, and it has those little like goose bumps.
Come on, Chowder. It's so obvious that only a solid material could make that kind of impression through cloth. So why would he pretend otherwise? Unless he has something to hide. Unless Crowder not only has twig arms, but he also has a Prince Albert.
My wife.
Thanks for watching, guys. Huge announcement really quick. I've just been signed with an MCN recently, so Prepare yourselves for truth. Whistleblower out.
Foot bucket. It's the perfect size when you've torn soft tissue and caused ligament damage in your feet. This one's generic, so they're not sponsoring the show, but I would love for them to do so because it's the perfect foot bucket for ice. It's not too big, not too small. There's no condensation, so we would love to be sponsored by Foot Buckets and offer discounts for people who, but I'm pretty flexible. That's just the Ehlers-Danlos right here, but look at that. That is a perfect ice foot bath if I've ever seen one. It's not gangrene. Foot Buckets. Foot Buckets. Please consider sponsoring the program. Foot Buckets.
Don't give a hoot about who wanna run up. Got a black eagle, it's in my bag, what up? Give me all your cheese. It's only cheese in the party, I don't roll with fleas. It's a thin line between no pennies and green. I'm mean, crush them like Big Joe Green machines.
Watch this and more at our other channel, Crowder Bits.
I came ill prepared for the drowning dance because this is my right foot is my scooting foot. When I scoot back the chair, it's usually my right foot.
Yeah.
I've never scooted with my left foot.
It's very sad.
I've never done that with the left foot. It's kind of like an inchworm.
Yeah.
But it's my foot.
Yeah.
By the way, my foot will be fine. There's no need to amputate. And for people who are confused, Anthony Cumia, the timer stopped working, and we did pre-tape this because he's on the East Coast and he didn't want to go super late. We taped like 40-something minutes, so it is available for. We're just uploading that full interview separately, as opposed to this show. Yeah. And by the way, thank you again so much. Promo code is quarantine. You get $30 off. It is Mug Club Quarantine Month. Tomorrow morning we will see you. We'll be talking a little bit about Rhett and Link. We did the Mass Monday, which we thought was the friendliest thing we've ever done.
Mm-hmm. Positively tame.
Their producer, you call me a piece of shit, which
she popped off.
Be that as it may, I have no problem with someone calling me a piece of shit. I just am curious as to why you think I'm a piece of shit. So we'll be talking about that more a little bit tomorrow, and probably another Mass Monday is warranted their way.
I think so. I think
and I'm not sure that calling someone piece of shit is brand friendly, which seems to be the focus of one Mr. Rhett and or Link.
Yeah.
And those are both names.
You don't think they're real?
TV names?
No. Okay.
So a couple things. I know this is usually where I try and close and provide some sort of inspiration or advice, but I am tired. And I actually just wanted to read something that was inspirational to me from one of you out there. So this was a year ago, actually, on the Life Advice installment. We got a letter from a gentleman who was blind. And for people who don't remember, I don't know if this went up on YouTube or if it was only for Mug Club members. Let me jog your memory. I've been blind since 13 and I'm 24 now. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. So ever since I've lost my sight, I've noticed that I've been forced into limitations that keep me from living a life that I wanted. One thing that I will say is missing from here, and that's a dream. Yeah. That's goals. And listen, goals change, dreams change. It's people need to know that it's okay to change your goals and your dreams. Yeah, and that was that was a fun day. And you know what? Yeah. I'm pretty sure we made fun of him quite a bit.
Yeah, we gave some ribbing
for his disability. As one does.
He can take it.
But in a friendly way. And hopefully, when you do this, and I will say this as well, I want to hear you guys comment below. Read you guys comment below. I'm obsessed with the blind and hearing.
I can't get it.
Smell. I'll smell. Do a scratch and sniff with the comments. Could you imagine if there were scratch and sniff comments on YouTube? It's like it smells like a pit of sulfur. And for some reason, Jimi Hendrix. Let's not get into that. So I just want to make this this as uncomfortable as possible because I'm about to read something earnest. We do these things. We do this life advice or whatever it is, Mass Monday, and it's separate from sort of the pomp and circumstance and the jokes that we do. And sometimes I'm talking to a brick wall, right? Like I'm advised not to read the comments always because you'll get lost in it. And usually the people who hate you the most are the people who comment first. So everyone else kind of gets to sort of chip in and enjoy some of the feedback. I don't always get a pat in the back. And I would like to know what you guys would like to see more of here with Mug Club Quarantine Month now that we're halfway through. Because
got a couple weeks of it.
We've done some experimental streams, video gaming, Mass Monday, life advice. We told you that not everything's they can't all be jams, but we are trying different things to see what it is that works and what it is that connects us with you the most effectively. So let us know. Let us know what you'd like to see more below, and I'll have Garrett read them. But same thing with reading these life advice emails sometimes. They come to the website at lifeadvice@loudwithcrowder.com, and the gentleman wrote me another letter, and I wanted to read it. It says, "Hello, Mr. Crowder, the entire Loud with Crowder family. I don't know if you remember me, but I was a young man who emailed into the Life Advice almost exactly a year ago where I talked about my blindness and the subsequent struggles with my mental health that it caused. I do remember you. We don't get that many blind emails.
Yeah. Not a big genre of emails.
No, it's niche.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Do they are the keyboards Braille? They must be.
They've got to be, right?
Well, I guess not at that point. It's all tactile. Like they probably Braille is almost obsolete because of the keyboard. Well, if you're typing, anyway. I should read this letter and be respectful.
That's complicated. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I cannot thank you enough for both the advice and the kind gesture of the Mug Club subscription you gave me. Well, I appreciate that it meant that much to you. I'm not exaggerating when I say I legitimately believe those simple acts saved me from myself. The main reason I'm emailing you is because I wanted to share where I am now from where I was a year ago. I'm back in school like I planned, and I'm about to finish my junior year, so I only have one more year left for my bachelor's degree. However, I'm actually considering going to law school because I found myself more and more interested in pursuing that career from watching the legal struggles you all have had, as well as being captivated when Mr. Richmond, that's half Asian Mr. Richmond to you, buddy. Yeah. Listen, that whole, but I'm blind shtick may work with the professors, but not here. When Mr. Richmond has discussed his profession and the law more generally, not only do I find the subject incredibly interesting, I want to be able to help fight the good fight like Mr. Richmond. Yes, I completely understand and laugh at the Daredevil comparison, so don't feel bad about laughing at it too. Context, we made fun of him and compared him to Daredevil. It was a legitimate question if his other heightened senses were heightened. Yeah. So he didn't answer. That wasn't a joke. Get back to us. I want a third email.
Question.
I want to show, what is it? Don't feel bad. My passion project of music is taking a little bit of a backseat as I focus on school, but I still dedicate time to it. I want to show everyone that you can be something other than a far-left progressive ideologue and make it in the entertainment industry like you have, Mr. Crowder. You mustn't be afraid to aim your sights a little higher, love. With regards to my mental health, I'm in a much better place than I was before. I'm certainly not saying I'm perfect, and I still have moments of weakness, but I do feel like there is a light at the end of the tunnel that I am moving toward for the first time since I can remember. Maybe the road ahead will still be hard, but I no longer feel like I'm stumbling in the dark. Well, as much as a blind person doesn't stumble in the dark when they have a light at the end of the tunnel. Oh. I appreciate it because you can make those jokes. Yeah. Take advantage. Thank you again for all the kindness you have shown me, and I hope I can make you all proud. Also, I renewed my Mug Club subscription and was able to pay for it myself, which was something that, even though it may seem small, made me incredibly happy. I'm glad to support all of you, and being part of this movement is the first time I felt like I belonged anywhere. My blindness has always made me feel like an outsider, but now I've found a new home. Thank you. His name, P.S. I'm sorry I sent my letter to this email, but I wasn't sure where else to send it. Also, my email was giving me trouble, and I don't know. Well, I don't really care about your technical issues. Okay, yeah, you had earned some points. Then you just wasted my time. People sometimes in this office hear me talk about, I'm like, listen, sometimes when you're the boss, you don't get a lot of pats on the back. Thank you. That's it. That does it. That's when I see that, it's been a very tiring, exhausting couple of weeks. And not really, I want to be clear, not because of doing the Mug Club Quarantine and 2 shows a day and we have it, we're doing it with a skeleton crew. Oh no, I just touched my eyes. Now I'm going to be like the email
Who's
guy.
Who's going to get you?
There have been some technical issues behind the scenes, hiccups, my foot, which is really just my fault that I'm a pussy. And something else happens too, though. This is why this means a lot to me, and this is not really inspirational so much as it is a thank you. And I understand that many of you are in tough times and cannot afford to join Mug Club, so understand that I'm not trying to sell you something that you don't want or can't afford. I'm just asking if it's something that you do want and you want the show to continue, that you make that so, because we can't do it without you. There's a difference. A lot of people get to separate their job, their career, and their home life. Particularly this month, this is it. This is 100% of what I am, of who I am. Every moment pretty much is spent doing this show. Now 2 shows a day, several days a week for you guys. And that can be pretty tiring. Anyone who's ever spoken in front of a large group of people, sometimes you forget that, millions of people are watching here. There's still that pressure. Everyone in here feels it when the cameras go on. I forgot that point. Yeah, because someone's going to give you crap for it. So it is tiring. And we do this thing before the show called do we call it the alphabet game?
Alphabet game, warm-up game.
We do some warm-up games to try and, enhance verbal fluidity and short-term recall. And sometimes we do an alphabet game where we go and every person has to name a word that starts with the letters. So A, it might be, if we're doing animals, it might be like A, albatross, B, I don't even know. This is the point that bear.
Bumblebee.
C.
That's 2 right there.
The point is... No, and I for me, I've always said, the thing that you sort of realize who you are when you're really tired, or at least what your natural capabilities are. I've seen Audio Wade be very tired, and he can sing. He can sing with the best of them. I've watched Court of Black Garrett be very tired, and then come out with an amazing to scale replica of R2-D2, so accurate that when I was like, "Hey, what's this thing there?" he was offended at me not appreciating the detail.
It is true.
But I'm sure if I were to ask you to do something like that isn't your wheelhouse when you're tired, it's hard. And same thing for me. I was doing the warm-up game, I don't know how to do this. But then when I sit in the chair and do this show, I'm able to do it. I really am. And I always panic before every show. My wife knows this, before every live show, before every performance. And I'm sure the comment section, because you suck. And be that as it may. Piece of shit, according to Rhett and Link.
Yeah.
They always say, well, you know what, when you sit in the chair, when you go on stage, you're going to go into autopilot. And I don't believe that in the back of my mind. I don't trust it, so I always over-prepare. I over-prepare so that I can sort of be off the cuff and a little more conversational here. But I will say that they're kind of right. So I will come in, I won't be able to think of an animal that starts with B, as happened today, but then we did that show, which, you know what? Pretty proud of that show, considering everything that went on this week. I think it was a pretty fun show, and Anthony Cumia makes everyone better, and Stu makes everyone better. But the point I'm getting at is the reason it means so much to me, and I think everyone hears. I can do that even when I'm exhausted, compared to accounting, because this is what I was born to do. It really is. And so when I see people out there, and I was mentioning this because I think it sort of came a little bit from Rhett and Link, where they were doing that interview we did the past Monday, and they were talking about how, we try to stay relevant on YouTube, and people want you to do things that you don't want to do. For me, and I'm not saying this is the case with them, but you hear it from a lot of artists, anyone who is exasperated with their fans doesn't deserve the privilege of performing for them. And it is a privilege, and I am incredibly grateful, and I know that I don't even deserve this privilege, but I can only earn this privilege by doing what it is that I was designed to do, born to do, because if I'm tired and I can't remember anything else, when I sit here, something happens, and it doesn't really occur to me. It's not really about me at this point. It's not about people in the room. We really are, all of us, trying to design this content, and same thing this month, create it for the people out there, like this guy. I don't want to say his name, so I know that sounds not very, like, this guy, this asshole, this blind f***. It's just because I'm trying to not say his name. So for me, when I say, you don't get a lot of pats on the back as a boss, it's been an exhausting, grueling couple of weeks, and I know it will be this month. That's all it takes. And you know what? I think that's the case for everyone out there, particularly for men. Just knowing that, hey, this is what I can do, this is what I can offer. Not like this month, I'm not a doctor, not a first responder. This is what I can do. And that it not only means something to somebody, because, well, that's enough. Someone laughing for me is enough, because that means something to somebody. But that it actually has affected real change for someone to improve their life. I don't give a rat's ass what people in Silicon Valley say, what they do, if they want to shut us down. Right now we're demonetized. If they want to shut the channel down, that makes it worth it. And I really, really appreciate it, and would love to hear from you what it is that you want to see more, because we don't bemoan it. We are here to serve you this month and beyond. Thank you so much. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Good Morning Mug Club, 9 a.m. Eastern. I got to get up at 3:30. Worth it!
It only takes a time. I does what I likes, and I likes, like.
Christopher Robin, what exactly is doing nothing?
Well, I'm told it means going along, listening to all the things you can't hear,